folks. This is Jimmy Aliciaga with Good Times Radio-TV. Very glad to be here. You guys can check out these videos and more at tomorrowslions.com as well as youtube.com to search Good Times Radio-TV. I'm here with a very good friend of mine and actually a pretty old buddy too. His name is Dan Smirkowski. He's the founder and journalist of SpecialChronicles.com. Dan, what's going on?
Not much.
Hey, thanks for being on tonight.
No problem.
Now, Dan does something very similar to what we do here at Good Times Radio-TV. Dan goes out and he talks to people, although the difference is that we're on an FM college station, and you work through something called a podcast, right?
Podcast, yes.
Now, for those that don't know much about podcasting, do you want to just sum it up in a couple,
Yeah. So all podcast it's an internet radio show where you download and subscribe to it for free.
Okay.
So it's just like internet radio, like what you guys are doing. But the neat thing is you can listen to it either live or you can download and stream it at any time you want on any device. So that's the simplest way to hopefully describe what a podcast is.
And you've got your own podcast show at SpecialChronicles.com. You want to tell us a bit about Special Chronicles?
Sure, yeah.
What you guys do?
There's a number of podcasts on, and it's basically I'm the only person right now. I do have a business manager who's my dad, and then I do have a listener who's an advisor, another listener who helps both the volunteer, but another who helps with the sound tech, making sure that the audio is sounded okay. And the mission is it's podcasting a message of respect and giving a voice to those with disabilities. And there's a number of the flagship program is Special Chronicles, and that it's just a talk and interview style, so kind of like what we're doing today.
Yeah.
And then Special Talks is where to have different global messengers in Special Olympics, like myself, take the audio of our speeches and hopefully in the future video too, because you can have both video and audio feeds. And so that's Special Talks. And then Special Walks is where you take an audio recorder or your iPhone or iTouch or anything like that, and you just go on the street and you just walk and talk.
Kind of like a remote kind of a thing.
Yeah, kind of like a remote broadcast. So like I've only produced a few of the Special Walks, which is just a Walkcast edition. And so like I'll walk like in Westmont, like where we both live, and it's interesting because not a lot of people they think you're talking to yourself, but if you're talking like on a Bluetooth, phone.
Right. Yeah. It looks like they're talking to themselves, but they're just right.
Yeah.
So then you're basically kind of doing that to where you're just walking around doing a show on foot even.
Yeah.
Not even necessarily going out and finding people, which I'm sure you also do.
Yeah, I also do that.
But that's also just you walking around.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, how often? Because you said that you can broadcast a show anytime that you want, 24/7. When do you ever have like a set time that you do it within a week's time? Do you produce so many shows? Interesting.
Because I just graduated from college last month on the 14th of December, 2012. Yeah. It's been really hard to produce episodes on a regular basis. But what I'm trying now, and actually this week I'll be putting together a podcasting schedule, and I'm going to I produced 47 episodes, over 70 that's in the SO feed, and I'm trying to have a regular basis. So this summer, June, July, is the 45th anniversary of Special Olympics. I'm going to try to get to episode number 100 on there. So I'm going to try to produce 2 to 3 on a weekly basis. And because now, since when you graduate from college, you can build your schedule depending on the job, or and so I guess the best way to answer your question is trying now to have a regular weekly schedule.
Okay, regular weekly show.
Yeah, since I already have a line of shows already lined up, it'll be really easy to produce regular podcast, radio, TV content on GoodTimesRadio.com, as well as article content. So both it'll be print, audio, and video, kind of going up now on a regular basis. Because I found in talking to a wide, diverse group of sources, this is the content that people want to hear and be informed about
Right.
Special Olympics. And yes, there's other media organizations that do cover that, but where there's actual Special Olympics Gold Commission who's providing these news, we have a unique story, and people do want to be informed by this. And so specialchronicles.com, our news feed up there is people will now be able to have a regular, timely, and newsworthy
Source.
and by being able to provide live content in timely fashion with this journalism background, be really helpful. And people have and like thanks like to Twitter and Facebook and Google Plus, people will be updated.
Yeah, right. And well, and I mean, you're definitely doing a great job. One, this website's really clean cut. It looks it's really easy to access.
Yeah,
you got all
it's gone through a few different
series
stages.
Of changes, I'm sure.
In the past, it was really, it didn't look good, and I've gotten some advice from some friends and professors.
Well, let's actually talk about that. Where did you get started, and when was that? What was that like for you? What is that? Because I mean, if I can just go back down memory lane, we're talking 5 or 6 years back. You and I, we used to make movies.
Yeah,
the high school we went to.
Yeah.
We would make videos that promoted the well-being of the students and staff, and made videos for events that were coming up, and it was a lot of fun. That's actually kind of when I first kind of really when I really got into making films. And it was a great time working with you. You always had a lot of great ideas. But when did you switch from doing movies to doing radio?
Well, I've always loved journalism, and whenever I went by a college radio station or even a professional station, I was always intrigued by what was going on behind the airwaves, so now the into airwaves, something like that. Right. And I've always loved reporting and writing and producing content. And going all the way back, I used to, when I was little, produce a family newsletter. And I would just email out to my family and friends. And even going back like 15, 20 years ago, like in 5th grade, I used to, I still have like some old newsletters from there. And then I used to like have like a newscast, like a comedic newscast I do with my friends. With another friend, I used to I'm sure some young listeners of yours might not understand what a cassette is, but I'm sure you know.
I hope cassette. Everybody knows.
Hopefully.
But yeah, old here. It's going. It's a problem here.
Yeah. So a cassette is, and so I used to just record like radio on there, and then I never changed the major because it's journalism. Even people might say, oh, you should go into marketing. You can get your master's in marketing, but radio and particularly journalism, because journalism cover both print, radio, and TV. I've been really fascinated in these, especially at specialchronicles.com. These are the stories that you like. These are the stories that I like to cover. And so those two beats, I like to cover both people with disabilities, but also the Catholic Church, which is two somewhat relatable beats and somewhat not. So this is, so I kind of get to do a mix of both.
Okay, very very cool. So then how many years have you had Special Chronicles?
I first started the pre-production in December, the end of December 2009. So
we'll say about 3 to 4 years.
Yeah. 3 to 4 years, and the first episode came out January 7th of 2010, and I've been producing it ever since on a regular basis. Totally surprised to have from most about win their 2012 Social Justice Award, and professors and friends and family have really been informed, encouraged, and inspired from this content.
Right.
Because I started just putting audio of the speeches that I gave. I gave a keynote speech spring of 2009. I put that up as an audio file, and that I learned quickly that that's what listeners want to hear. And so it was really inspiring. You know, as I'm sure you know, like hear feedback from listeners.
Absolutely.
Really inspiring, and so that's what I do. And so it's really. I feel like this is what I'm called to have as a career.
It's also really cool. You were showing me a video,
Yeah.
promo video that you made a little while back for the show, and there's a bunch of comments from from different critics, and one person said that you're making the world a better place. Even
Yeah.
so, yeah. So that you know it.
Yeah.
So I mean, no, this is really good. Because there's a very good purpose behind what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and even though it's the sad thing is you need to make money in order to live, but the main mission, the main purpose of Special Chronicles is to really give a voice where people with disabilities, where they are the ones who are podcasting, they are the ones where we are the ones who are actually providing our voice, and that's the mission. That's how SpecialChronicles.com started. That's how I want to continue and giving this content away for free. That's what I want to do, and it's really hard to, because it takes a lot to have this continue, and even have this be professional. It takes a lot of money.
Yes.
But on SpecialChronicles.com, if you click on what's this first time heal, I have a letter, an article that I wrote, and there's a donate button at the bottom where people can click, and they can, if listeners, if viewers want this to continue, then we cannot do this without the help of our listeners and viewers and readers.
Well, that's really cool. What I was going to ask you about next is that it's really cool. This website is under the About section. You have a little link that says Our License. You want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah. So the license, because as radio, like what you do, it's under the FCC.
Of course. Yep.
The FCC guidelines. Podcasting is different in that respect, even though there are some radio programs who do podcast their shows. But with podcasting and blogging works the same way. You license it under a Creative Commons license. And so people are free to use it to an extent. So if you go to specialchronicles.com / I think it's license. I forgot the exact. It's hard to remember everything. But yeah, specialchronicles.com / license. I think that's what it is. Mm-hmm. And so all that does is it helps to protect the podcasting and the new media work at specialchronicles.com.
Right, and that makes sense. Yeah, I was just wondering about that, but that's really really cool.
Yeah. Hopefully that answers your question.
No, yeah, it definitely does. And we were talking on the way over here about the different qualities that you can have as far as podcasting goes. You said that a lot of it depends on the equipment that you use, meaning like the mics or whatever.
Yeah.
What kind of mics do you use, and have those progressed over time? Like, have you gotten better mics? Have you been going the last 3 or 4 years?
Yeah. When I first started, I actually, even though I first started podcasting the beginning of 2010 for Special Chronicles, but I actually first started. I had a couple of different podcasts before. And I first started podcasting in November of 2008. I started blogging and working in new media in 2007, I think. It was my junior year of high school. I forgot when exactly that was. But so that's when I started working in new media. And so, blanking on the question. Great radio.
No, I was asking about the mics that you
the mics. Yeah, so when I first started podcasting, I used just a headset mic, and the quality, because it was really, really bad, unprofessional, but that's all I could afford. And actually, now that I think about it, I started just using the internal mic on my MacBook, and finally upgraded to a headset mic. And then the episode 1 of Special Chronicles was with the headset mic, so the quality was really bad. But then episode 2, then I upgraded for $100. I got a Bill and Joe podcast studio, and that came with a small mixer, a small mic, headphones, and I've been using that for the past 3 years. Now I'm looking into upgrading to a Hale, or it's a Heil, I'm not trying to pronounce, but
Right.
a Heil PL40 microphone with a loud soundboard with different channels, and you can really adjust the gain, and
Right.
so it's professional sounded. That's the next step, because yes, you can even broadcast, like even what we're doing now, we'll have a live radio on the iPod Touch or iPhone or whatever, a live radio broadcast. That's okay, but to have professional sound and people to take you seriously in this field, to have this professional podcast, and so a friend of mine who went to podcasting full time, he out of college he had a career, and then he went to podcasting full time. I'm doing this right out of college. And his website is called podcastanswerman.com, podcastanswerman.com, and he actually sells equipment, and he teaches, if you go to learnhowtopodcast.com, he teaches you how to podcast.
Okay.
And so, so that's, I think, yeah.
Well, cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, one thing I was going to mention that we talked about on the way over here is that, is this one of your first times being on the other end of the mic?
Actually, funny no. It's easier to be on your side of the mic where you're conducting it, because I find it really inspirational, really engaging to actually be able to interview different sources and to tell the stories. But no, in the past 4 years, I've been interviewed on like the Special Olympics Illinois website. I've been interviewed on a number of different podcasts. And I've been interviewed on WBBM News Radio. Within the past month, on January 13th, I was featured in the column in the Chicago Sun-Times paper. A couple weeks ago, January 4th, on CBS 2 Chicago News, I was featured. Rob Johnson did a story, and so I was featured there for their Yo Chicago segment. So it's been interesting, and
then it sounds like it's been. I mean, for all the work in the last 3 to 4 years, sounds like the last year's been really, really good. So
it definitely has. And
so it's really going places.
And if you just go to Google, type in Daniel Smrokowski, SMROKOWSKI. I guess in the news feed, the CBS 2 story should show up, and it's pretty easy to find that.
Yeah, we definitely have to check that out. So then, this is something that you want to do beyond doing I guess
journalism. It's
journalism.
The pastor at my church, he actually referred to it as a champion of podcast journalism. Okay. So that's more. It's still journalism. It's still producing media.
But it's just via like a media outlet. Basically.
I guess that's a new media outlet. So. And
this is something that you want to do beyond just doing journalism and writing and doing that kind of a thing. You actually, and beyond just being a regular host talking to, let's say talking to people that do art, people that do radio. You want to talk to people that can basically benefit what you're trying to do, and it even says it right here over here at specialchronicles.com, and I quote, podcasting a message of respect and giving a voice to those with special needs, and that's what you want to do. That's the main mission through Special Chronicles. Yes, and that mission has evolved as well. It started with this podcasting a message of respect, and then a listener on the East Coast in Long Island or somewhere on the East Coast. She has a son who has autism. She left a review in iTunes. There's only 3 reviews, but she left a review in iTunes, and she said that Special Chronicles gives a voice to those with special needs. And so I tacked that on to the mission. And so the whole mission is about podcasting of respect, but it's also giving a voice to those with special needs. And I try to keep podcasting in that mission because those like Rob Johnson, CBS 2, or Kieran Mile at ABC, or even like some news services and blogs who they do
a couple people with disabilities, but again, as we give a message, because I don't believe, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure in talking to other people that there's not another podcast where people who are athletes and global masters in Special Olympics where we actually have a voice beyond. So that's kind of why I want to keep podcasting within that tagline, within the whole mission of SpecialChronicles.com.
And it's been a really great 3 to 4 years, clearly. And where would you like to be in another 3 to 4 years? You thought about that?
Yes. I always thinking of new ideas, new stories to cover. It's real. Like even though this past week I went out just on a vacation or a staycation, and always thinking of new ideas and new stories to cover. But in 2015, the Special Olympics World Summer Games, because there's always a Special Olympics event all year round. That's what's different than the Special Olympics to the Olympics. Special Olympics is events all year round. And so in 2015, the Special Olympics World Summer Games is going to be in Los Angeles. And I would love to be able to provide, it's like similar to NBC or ESPN, how they have live coverage of the Olympics. I want to do that before Special Olympics. To have both a live radio stream and a live TV stream at all the different sporting events. Because I think that there's definitely a gap, definitely a need within the community. Like the listeners, readers, and viewers who definitely will tune in.
Absolutely.
And SpecialChronicles.com can be that medium, can be that voice. And so in 2015, that's my goal, is to be at the Special Olympics World. And because I was born in Long Beach, California, it'd be a great time to go back. Right. But that's just a side thing. I like to go back in. But the main mission, that's the main goal, is to be able to go to provide live coverage on SpecialChronicles.com.
That's awesome. Another question that I had for you is, where'd you get the name from Special Chronicles?
Interesting. In the end of December 2009, so like on 28th, 29th, I was at my cousin's, and my cousin who's I forgot what year, he's in high school, and he lives in Pennsylvania, and he was telling me, oh, you should do a podcasting about Special Olympics. You should, because the podcast I had before had all different topics, didn't really ever have a mission to it, and so like I was thinking, and so I heard a song, people up in Alaska did a song called Come On, and it really fits well with the mission of the Olympics, fits well with the mission of Special Chronicles. And so I wanted like some type of journal, like an audio journal, but I didn't want it to be journal, so I was looking into the thesaurus, like I guess any good writer would, go to the thesaurus. So I was looking for, and I wanted to be special, because I mean that's what makes it unique. And then I was looking in the thesaurus for journal, like what's another journal, and Chronicles. And I guess Chronicles, it also kind of fits with a news media name theme. And so I put Special and Chronicles together, and figured that's the perfect name, and it really works. And like even being able to yourself design the logo, SpecialChronicles.com, the website, the podcast, blog, everything, totally one person created, which it's a lot of work. It's fun, but also way tiring. Like,
of course,
to produce one episode, it takes anywhere from 10 to 15 hours to produce. Episode 47, which is the latest episode, to edit 30 minutes of audio. 30 minutes of audio took me about 2 hours to edit just 30 minutes of audio. Wow. Which and to not get paid for all this is really hard. But I have the faith that it can succeed, it can grow, maybe even become $1 million company.
Absolutely can, Dan. So, hey, man, just keep on working.
Thanks.
Well, gentlemen and ladies, this has been Good Times Radio TV. Want to thank Dan for coming on. Now, Dan, where else can people reach you besides SpecialChronicles.com if they want to talk to you about an event that they want to have broadcasted, or if they want to come on and talk to you on your radio show?
SpecialChronicles.com, which is SpecialChronicles.com. If you just, I don't know if I can say this. Can I say this? If you go to, hopefully you don't get in trouble from this. If you go to Google, type in Special Olympics Podcast.
Okay.
Just go to Google, type in Special Olympics podcast. The first hit is going to be specialchronicles.com. Click on that, and then those underneath about it says contact. Click on that contact, and there's an email and a voicemail line. You can either email feedback@specialchronicles.com, feedback@specialchronicles.com, or write on specialchronicles.com. There's a send voicemail tab. Click on that, and you can record a voicemail right from your computer, or on your smartphone or tablet. You can record voicemail feedback. You can also call the Special Chronicles line. Do you want me to?
Sure.
get it?
Yeah.
It's +1 630 384 9137 630 384 9137, and it's open 24/7, and it's on specialchronicles.com. So that's the best place to go. My portfolio, dan.specialchronicles.com. That's if you're interested in any consultant or any one to hire. But the main hub, main home on the web is specialchronicles.com, and you can find everything there. If there's any college students who are listening, or just anyone in general, click on that Chegg affiliate link, CHEGG. If you click on that link, it will also help to support the work at specialchronicles.com. Even just by clicking on it will also help. And then you can also want and sell back your textbooks. Because I'm sure there's a lot of students listening who have textbooks, and so please go to specialchronicles.com, click on that Chegg link, and click on it even multiple times if you want. But you can also sell back your books and want your books. It's affordable, and you can also save tweets as well.
Cool. All right, Dan. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
for
thank
being
you.
on.
Thank you. It's been an honor to be on your show.
Hey, thanks, man. And then hopefully, we can be on yours too, man.
Awesome.
I'd definitely like to
Definitely.
go and check that out, Dan.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome, guys. So, guys, everybody go out there and check out specialchronicles.com. That's specialchronicles.com. This has been Good Times Radio TV. This is Jimmy Lisiaga.
Somebody had the
We
question.
will see you guys same time, same place next time. I don't know if you want to say it over the air.
Oh, I don't know if you I don't know your time limit.
Yeah.
But I guess 3 people tuning in live, and there's one person, I don't know who the Master DJ Pro Radio Live is.
Master DJ Pro.
Somebody who's live, and
What are they saying?
some bad language. No, something you.
Yeah, let's just, okay.
Yeah, let's not say that.
Well, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. You guys can check out again at specialchronicles.com. This is Jimmy Lisiaga. You guys can check out these videos and more at youtube.com to search Good Times Radio TV. The main spot being tomorrowslines.com. We'll see you guys all next time. Thank you. Hey, man, awesome.
Thanks.
That's crazy. I did not think that.
No, I.